Welcome ETC members and Fullerton students. Can we get some noise? We are so excited to be hosting the first panel of the year, the sports industry panel. We have 4 professionals who are ready to give us their insight on the industry and ready to share some tips. Let's get started.
To network. I was told that constantly in college that I need to talk to people and meet people and just get to know people in the industry, and even 3 to 5 small contacts open tons of doors for me.
AJ?
I'm going to echo what Allie said as well, but also throw a little bit of my own opinion there. Networking is huge. If you're not doing it already, start doing it. I mean, that's the way that you open up doors. But unlike Jordan, I had a very narrow focus when I first started. I wanted to be on ESPN, I was going to be SportsCenter, I was going to be me. And it wasn't until I went and finished my grad school and had a bunch of different experiences that I realized there's so many different opportunities in sports to go a different way. I worked with a minor league team at Syracuse and realized I love working with teams. You're in there day in and day out, you're in the heartbeat of the team. When we lost to the Kings, which I didn't when we lost to the Kings last year, it was crushing, and the players are crushed, and as an employee you're crushed, but you've lived through the highs and lows, and getting in those experiences, like Jordan said, I wish somebody would have told me earlier, don't pigeonhole yourself. Go out and do everything, and then find those things that you really want to do and see if you can make it work.
Thank you, Amy.
I would say that if I could go back in time, I would want somebody to, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
I wish somebody had told me okay, in sports, the competition level is just that much higher, right? Than like any other, like everybody wants to be in sports, and everybody wants to be in entertainment, you know? And I wish I kind of understood that a little bit more, because you'll see, like, if you guys do end up interning or, you know, networking, it's just the competition is just so much higher. And I wish somebody had told me that you really do need to make yourself stand out, not just being just another intern, you know, not just being, you know, just another like how is it that you stand out from everybody else, you know? Because I think that's huge, because literally, like, we just hired, for the game day operations, we've hired 120 interns that are going to intern this whole season. And I could probably, I'm in marketing, I could probably count how many interns will actually, like, you know, put themselves out there and introduce themselves to me. Like, they don't do that. I don't know why, but they don't do that, you know? Like, you have to just be able to, you know, not be afraid and not be afraid of being uncomfortable. You know, maybe some people like it, maybe some people don't, but that's what elevates people, or that's what makes people in sports remember you, right? So that's what I would tell somebody.
So make sure you introduce yourself to Amy after this.
Yeah, I think to kind of add on to what all 3 said is the networking aspect, and you know what Amy's talking about, that's developing your network. Because if you think about it, we use the word branding all the time, right? Peyton Manning has a brand, Coca-Cola has a brand, but I think one step further, individually, you guys have a brand. And so if you think about it and you say, I want to network, I want to give you a little, like, at least a tool that you can actually, or a clear definition of what successful networking is. It's your individual brand and how people experience that brand. So if you think about it, if you're an intern, or if you're starting off your career, or if you're at the top of your career, networking really is, what do you want people to experience, and what do you want people to think about when they experience it? And I think there's a couple things that you can do. Amy touched on it right there, of being open, letting people see your personality, and starting to develop a relationship. You're not asking how somebody's doing or saying hey, hello, because Amy said to do it on Wednesday night. You're doing it because you want to start a relationship. And I think one of the best things, I've seen it on the field, I've seen it with coaches, I've seen it in what I do with marketing, and I've seen it with Matthew, who's an intern with my company right now, is one of the best things for people to experience when they're with you is work ethic. And that's a way that you can separate yourself. So the initial step is opening yourself up to be able to meet somebody. And the second thing is people will always judge you based off of how they'll judge you in some aspect of how you look, how you talk, where you're from, what your education is, what your background is. But there's those things that they can't ever touch. And one of them is work ethic. So when people meet you, they know you as that person who works their ass off and who's there early and stays late. That's a good brand to have. If you're that person who, Matthew's a perfect example, I don't ask him, can you do this for me based off of, has he done it before? I ask him because I know he's going to say yes, he's going to figure out a way to get it done. That's a guy that I want working with me, that's a guy I want to hand bigger projects and bigger initiatives and bring him on to bigger things because I know he's either going to have an answer or he's going to go figure out an answer. And so there's the opening yourself up to develop the relationship. There's the work ethic. And then there's the third thing, call it what you want. I call it figure it outness. Figure it out. Sure, I got it. I got you. Right? You want it in a relationship with your significant other, you want it in a friend, and you damn sure want an employee. And so as you guys develop your personal brand, I would definitely take a step back as you go through a semester or the end of an internship program or your first year on the job. And I would take a step back and evaluate and be critical of yourself. How am I in those three areas? Am I really opening myself up to develop a relationship? Am I working harder than the people next to me? And when somebody hands me something that I don't know how to do I figure out how to do it? And those types of things, those three things right there are going to combine to build your brand, and you are in complete control of that. Your employer's not in control of that, your parents aren't in control of that, that's on you.
Hey Jordan,